it was at 83.9 billion. Nairobi would get more than 10 billion.
Point of order, Chair.
Okay. I mean,
Point of order. I don't mean to disrupt you, Governor. We are all in agreement with all those things you're saying. We have asked specific questions about the constitutionality and legality of the agreement.
Okay.
In order for us to use our time best, I think you should just answer the specific questions we've raised, because we have been very clear. The answers that we want to.
Order. The question on Kura is a specific question.
Just a minute, Chair. Governor, leave Kenha, Kura to us. That is our fight as a Senate, and we've always fought on your side as a Council of Governors on the question of RLF. We want you to address the specific concerns of the Senate on the legality and constitutionality of this agreement.
Okay. So, Chair,
go on toward the
Chair. Okay. Should I choose whose questions to answer? Yes, please. Let me tell you. Because Senator Muma has asked a very specific question. No, let me ask you one thing. You have several questions the members have asked. Yeah. Each one of us here asked a question. And I think everyone's question is important. In the interest of time, just go one by one. That's what I'm doing. Yes. Yeah. This is the last question. Okay. Right. Your answer was the questions. Proceed.
The county assembly, is your county assembly going to appropriate a conditional grant brought from National Assembly to go towards a function that is being improved, courtesy of the agreement? And is the Auditor General going to audit the PS housing or going to audit the county assembly? It's unclear on how you're moving on these issues.
I now have a platform where I can question these things and ask for them every 2 weeks. For me, it's a great opportunity, you know. And the PS Treasurer himself is going to be at that meeting to say, yes, we're getting these resources or not. You know, for me, it's great. The issue of CIDP.
Just clarification on that point, Governor. I thought the mechanism where you interact with the national government is the IBEC.
IBEC is to
just a minute.
Yeah.
Are you saying this committee is superior to IBEC and you cannot bring up these issues on behalf of the people of Nairobi at the IBEC?
IBEC meets very infrequently. I have raised these issues all at IBEC. You'll get a general answer because there are 47 other counties. I now have a platform for Nairobi specific every so often to raise these issues. It's a better platform.
Public participation that is anticipated under Article 10(1)(c) is something that is required prior to decisions being made. Your Excellency, you entered into agreement. You have signed an agreement here. And I would want that when the committee starts interrogating, we need to understand as the people of Nairobi how long these conversations have been going. Because it is not possible that, in my estimation, I don't think that these conversations happened within a week or two. You, as the head of the government in Nairobi, have been having these conversations with the view of entering this agreement with the national government. I think I'll be right to assume that it has taken some time. What was so difficult for you to be able to publish, for instance, a notice and say the Nairobi County government is in talks with the national government with a view of entering an agreement that looks like this, and then allow us as the people of Nairobi to conduct public participation and give our views, including the County Assembly of Nairobi? Honorable Chair, I want to confirm as a Senator of Nairobi that I had no idea that these particular negotiations were going on. Outside the fact that Governor is my friend, is able to reach me on phone. I had no clue until I saw that invitation that there was going to be a signing ceremony. And you put it at a very unfriendly address, which of course Sifuna is not welcome to attend. We have seen the schedule that has been published for now, the public participation. The people of Nairobi are supposed to undertake that public participation tomorrow. Actually, it starts today at Charter Hall and then Friday in the constituencies. This is an egregious violation of the right of public participation, in my view, because you have already put pen to paper, Honorable Governor. And it is, the courts in Kenya have already ruled that when the Constitution requires public participation, it has to be meaningful. It cannot be a cosmetic exercise meant to rubber stamp something that has already been settled. So, Honorable Chair, I have a problem, and this Committee of Devolution must actually protect the people of Nairobi. If you read the text of the agreement, it actually only anticipates, Governor, amendments that might come from public participation. It says that if there are any amendments that are proposed by the people of Nairobi, and you yourself have alluded to the possibility of amendments, what you have called refining the agreement, but you and the president do not anticipate that the people of Nairobi in their righteous might can actually say, we don't want this agreement. So whereas the agreement anticipates that you can accommodate our views and amend it, we, the people of Nairobi, can say we reject it in total. We have not seen where you accommodate that particular view. Nairobi County, because we do not consider it a need, when you look at the column of the county government's additional allocation, you will see Kiambu, our bedroom, receives money for CAIBs, county aggregation parks. On the column for Nairobi, it is blank because of the recognition that probably our priorities lie elsewhere. When the county governments began in 2013 on Buchea, there are counties that did not have headquarters. I went to Mandera and I found that they were given money specifically to a need to say, let us have county headquarters. They have built those county headquarters. If you look at the column for Nairobi, you will see that Nairobi does not receive money for county headquarters. So there is a legal instrument, Governor. There's a legal instrument. You should have pointed out to the president that it is possible for the national government to identify the specific need, for instance, on street lighting. Our bill for street lighting almost matches some of the money that some of these counties spend on school feeding programs and the other things. It is a special need, and it flows out of that Section 6 of the Urban Areas Act. We should have told the president, we have no problem receiving money for support of Nairobi, put it in the proper legal instrument. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, Chair, this question of, for instance, bursaries. You have had a fight with the national government and the control of budget, saying we are undertaking functions that are not supposed to be undertaken by the county governments. But under the recognition of our special needs as a people for support, especially when it goes towards education, I have been to counties like Mandera, even Nairobi has a bursaries program. Governor, if you look at the agreements that the control of budget required that counties do, there is no similar management mechanism that has been put in place. Musalia doesn't sit on our bursaries board, but we have an agreement so that you regularize it through the constitution. Thirdly and fourthly, the management committee. That is a problem that you as a committee will have to deal with. Musalia Mudavadi has sneaked himself into elective office in Nairobi because he is essentially undertaking the functions of your government. And I know he's your brother, but you don't have to share power with him. Honorable Chair, yes, there is the question of pending rates, Governor. You yourself will tell this committee the current outstanding balance. And last we had a conversation with you about how much money national government owes the people of Nairobi. I think it was upwards of something like 100 billion Kenya shillings. Why can't you tell the president that you have the capacity as a county government to be able to manage Nairobi? Let him give us our money. Let him give us our money. And then we will build our roads. I have seen this county government building roads. Unless, Governor, you are saying you cannot build roads. If the national government gave the county government of Nairobi money, you have the capacity to build those roads. You have the capacity to do those sewer lines. You have the capacity to do the drainages. You are a government. Tell them to give us our money. When we see people saying, we will give you this money, but we are not very sure you will run it, so let's send Musalia to chair the board. That is unacceptable under the Urban Areas and Cities Act. Lastly, Chair, we are concerned about the oversight framework because I sit in the County Public Accounts Committee, and we as a Senate, we are guided by the reports of the Auditor General. We are making the life of the Auditor General difficult when during an audit process, they have to go to various entities to be able to find documentation that support the expenditure of these resources. So for instance, if we want to audit these resources that have been given under this particular arrangement, you are told, oh, there are some documents you have to go and get from the Treasury, the others are where, the others are this. You are making it difficult for the auditor to be able to do their job. Lastly, Governor, the NMS, you yourself promised the people of Nairobi, we will not get into a misadventure similar to that one. This one is similar to that misadventure. It left us with a lot of pending bills. You have spoken to it. I heard you during your address to the County Assembly. And Governor, you came before this Senate. You came before this Senate. This Senate helped you to extract a concession from State House that Nairobi people will not be paying the pending bills under NMS. We said the Comptroller of State House, who was the accounting officer under NMS, should pay those resources. Governor, my expectation is when you go to State House, please remind the President that he is the one responsible for payment of those NMS pending bills before you sign the contract. You cannot just be there smiling and laughing, and yet you know the trouble that these contractors from NMS are going through. Let them pay their pending bills, and we don't want this misadventure again. With those few remarks, Honorable Chair, I thank you, and I reserve the right to ask any supplemental questions if the committee will allow me.
As Senator for Nairobi has raised a concern, even as we cooperate horizontally, vertically, we must respect the basic tenets of the Constitution. And we have read through this agreement that you have, and we have a few concerns. One, we don't see clarity in terms of what the agreement is, in terms of this is what national government will do, and this is what county government will do, and this is how the nature of collaboration will happen. The agreement is so general that it looks as if we have incorporated national government actors into the cabinet of the county government to make decisions over the county functions. So we have not seen that demarcation that indicates that Nairobi County can only manage to do 40,000 street lights. National government feels we need to up that to 70,000, and therefore national government is planning a conditional grant to county government to help it top up from the 50,000 that they are able to do to the 70,000 that we think Nairobi should have. That is not clear in this agreement. And the manner in which you've set up the committees looks as if national government is actually making decisions over county functions and then pushing it down to be implemented. And even in that implementation, top-heavy PSs of national government, and we don't see the operation of the county government officers is a bit vague. So it is unclear on what that implementation means. And does it mean supervising or oversighting implementation or implementation? When you call it implementation committee, one could easily be persuaded to mean a PS, a mischievous PS might imagine that they have actually been given the job to set up lights in the city of Nairobi. So how do we ensure that we respect the functional integrity of the county government even as we enter into this agreement? So how are we using the tool of conditional grants? It is unclear in here. You haven't even used made a reference to what that means. Is it technical support they're trying to give you? Is it that Nairobi County cannot put up lights, so national government, which has the function of technical support, wants to give technical support? It is unclear on what we are, how we are going about this function.
Generally, the agreement is mandatory. It's 14 years late because the law was passed in 2012, Urban Areas and Cities Act. Number two, this agreement is not a transfer of functions. It is not. Transfer of functions happens under Article 187 of the Constitution, where a function, and there must be a deed of transfer. And when you do the deed of transfer, one level of government handles functions ordinarily supposed to be handled by another level of government. We said we will not transfer functions. If anything, the national government transferred some to us through our school feeding program, which we run, and which is very successful. It is actually ordinarily would have been run by the national government. Number two, a transfer of function creates an institution like the NMS that then is used to run those functions ideally, or the precedents that we have in our country, there is no institution created under this agreement. The county shall do what the county does. The national government shall do what the national government does. But the national government can now, through its appropriation at the National Assembly, create a vote line and resources for the capital city, which are additional. And I'll give you an example because we've been trying to find ways. Nairobi has a shortage of schools, big shortage of schools. A city of 7 million people having 210 schools. I'm sure you can tell me the number of schools in a constituency in your, in Eldoret. In fact, the president is a former member of Eldoret North. He said he had 150 schools when he was MP. And so what we sought to do was to find an injection to build more classrooms, primary and ECD. That was done because of a lack of a framework. It had to be done through CDF. That the president then gave additional 1 billion to Nairobi MPs through CDF to add classrooms. It is not neat, because even that was a big fight in the National Assembly. Because other members of parliament then asked, why is it that they're getting 1 billion more, yet we're not getting that money? So it's a special arrangement. The only county which has that provision and which can leverage on it is Nairobi County. And so as the governor, I have to ask myself a question. If I am straining to provide these services efficiently, and there is a provision of the law that I can take advantage of and get an additional X billion, whatever amount it is, I must run towards that opportunity for the benefit of the people. And the same goes for many other things. One of the things, for instance, Chairman, sorry, I don't take too much time. One of the areas we're partnering is on sanitation. On sanitation, work that ordinarily, would have taken us so many years to do. We are now doing a 54-kilometer sewer line, 27 kilometers on both sides of the river, through the River Commission that we jointly set up, the national government and the county. That project alone is 50 billion shillings. How long would it have taken Nairobi to get 50 billion shillings to do that project that covers the sanitation for the next 40 years for this city? It's a 1.8 by 1.8 box culvert. That project includes 6 billion of treatment plant in Kariobangi, 6 billion shillings. That project includes another 3 billion of last mile connectivity, which supports also the affordable housing and our urban renewal. It includes stadia, linear markets. Kamkuji grounds, if you go today, is different from what. So this also should, formalize some of these arrangements. I've gotten more than 1 kilometer now per ward, 7 billion. There is no space in my budget where I've gotten 7 billion additional. But these are things that are needed. So we took a pragmatic approach because, we can also, and I'm so confident that in the next 5-6 months, people will see a big difference in this city. Huge difference, whether it is on cleanliness, whether it is on sanitation, whether it is on roads, on lighting. And as I was saying, this lighting of those roads, when there are no lights on Juja Road, people blame the county. Yet Kura should be lighting their roads. In fact, what we've agreed is no road contract should be given going forward without the aspect of street lighting. Kenha is the only agency that currently takes care of the lights and the bills for their roads. But since the county is given that responsibility, as opposed to maybe another county, when there's no light, it becomes a national security issue. So that interplay between national and county goes without saying. Finally, every capital city worth its salt in the world has similar agreements. Washington, D.C., Australia, if you go to Berlin, if you go to London, where you have the greater metropolitan area of London, if you go to Paris, if you go to Cape Town in Pretoria, it must be there. A capital cannot be ignored. So I will leave it at that because I know there are many concerns, and I'm available to give any clarification.